Months had passed since the humans had changed the way the galaxy thought about war. Now, Laura and Dylan were invited to the new strategy summit. It was held on a neutral space station near the edge of known space. Many leaders and thinkers from different worlds came together. The topic: how to use smart chaos in peace, not just in battle. Laura stood at the window, looking at the stars. Dylan sat nearby, fixing the small drone. They both felt the weight of what they had started. "Do you think we can really guide this?" Dylan asked. Laura nodded. "We have to try. If we don't, others will shape it their way." The summit hall was large and full of light. There were no flags this time. Just people, or beings, from across the stars, ready to listen and share. Celine opened the summit. "We are not here to plan war. We are here to guide thinking. We ask, how can we use these ideas for peace, for repair, for growth?" Bryn showed new data on how smart chaos had helped planets fix broken systems faster. Teams had used indirect thinking to solve problems in new ways. One group even stopped a spreading fire by breaking pipes to flood an area. But others had darker stories. A rogue group had tricked a city's systems and taken control without firing a shot. "It's like fire," said one speaker. "It can cook food or burn homes." Laura and Dylan gave their talk near the end. They spoke of their journey, of the first missed shot, of the laughs, and of the lessons. "We didn't invent thinking ahead," Dylan said. "We just reminded people it matters." Laura added, "And now it's up to all of us to use it the right way." After the talk, the council met in private. They discussed rules and ways to teach this method in safe ways. They agreed to build learning centers, open to all, not just soldiers. The goal was clear: use smart thinking to help, not harm. Back at the human base, training changed again. Classes now included engineers, builders, and healers. Students learned to ask better questions, to see beyond the surface. One student asked Dylan, "How do you know what will happen when you break something?" He smiled. "You don't always, but you learn to see the patterns, the signs. It's not magic, it's focus." Laura led a group through a problem-solving test. The task was not to shoot, but to fix a broken system without direct tools. Some students failed. Some surprised even themselves. Celine stayed to help longer. She began writing a guide with Laura on effect-based thinking. It was simple, clear, and full of stories from different worlds. News of their work reached far. A new expo was planned, not for war, but for peace. Teams would compete to solve hard problems using smart chaos. One evening, Laura and Dylan walked by the railgun they once used. It now sat in a display room with a small sign: "The shot that changed everything." Dylan laughed. "Never thought missing on purpose would take us this far." "It wasn't just the miss," Laura said. "It was knowing what else could happen." Ships passed above them. Some were human, some not. But now, many carried people who thought differently because of what Laura and Dylan had done. Celine joined them, holding the first printed copy of the guide. She handed it to Laura. "This is just the beginning." Laura flipped through the pages. "Let's hope they read it." Dylan added, "And use it for good." The stars outside were still the same, but the minds traveling through them were not. The aliens once laughed at human aim. Now, they watched closely, knowing that the point of the shot was never the target. It was the change that followed. The sun was low when the team walked deeper into the forest of Grith 4. Trees reached high into the sky. The air was thick and warm. Strange sounds filled the forest, but the crew of the Frontier Dawn kept moving. Commander Ethan Brooks walked in front. Behind him was Naomi Carter, carrying her scanner and a notebook. 3 other Marines followed closely, watching the trees. They were searching for the Threxel. Naomi stopped and knelt by a broken branch. "Claw marks," she said, touching the tree. "Fresh. It was here not long ago." Ethan looked around. He raised his hand, signaling the others to stay quiet. They all froze, listening. For a moment, the forest went silent. Then a soft rustle. A flash of black and silver moved between the trees. The Marines raised their weapons, but Ethan did not fire. Hold. It's watching us. Naomi turned on her scanner. The screen blinked red. It's big. Maybe 4 meters long. Warm-blooded. Very fast. Suddenly, the Threxel leaped from the trees. It was huge, with long claws, dark skin, and yellow eyes. It landed near them, roaring. The ground shook. Ethan acted fast. He rolled to the side and fired. The shot hit the creature in the chest, but it didn't fall. It charged. The Marines opened fire. Bright lights flashed in the forest. Leaves flew in the air. The Threxel collapsed, breathing hard, then stopped moving. Everyone stood still for a second. Naomi slowly walked up to it. She placed her hand on its thick skin. "It's beautiful," she said quietly, "but deadly." Ethan nodded. "Let's take it back." They tied the body with strong ropes and pulled it through the forest. It took hours to get it back to the camp. When they arrived, the rest of the crew gathered around. Many had never seen a Threxel before. "That's the creature they warned us about," someone asked. Captain Logan Barrett walked up, looking at the large body. "Good work," he said. "Let's learn from it, and maybe taste it." Some crew members laughed. Others looked unsure. Later that night, a fire was built in the center of camp. Ethan and a few others cleaned the Threxel and cut pieces of meat. Naomi wrote notes about the body's muscles, skin, and bones. She had never seen anything like it. The smell of cooking filled the air. It was rich and strong. Captain Barrett took the first bite. He chewed slowly, thinking. Then he smiled. "Bit chewy, but tastes like chicken." Laughter spread through the group. More people came forward to try. Some made faces. Others took second bites. Soon, the fear around the Threxel started to fade. High above the camp, a drone recorded everything. It sent the footage back to the Accord. In a distant station, Ambassador Verl watched the video. His eyes were wide. They killed it. And now they eat it. An Accord guard beside him looked sick. "They are different. Very different." "This changes everything," Verl said. "The humans do not run from danger. They face it. And then they roast it." He sent a new message to the Accord Council. Back on Grith 4, the crew sat around the fire. The stars were bright above them. Naomi looked at the sky and said, "What else is out there?" Ethan took another bite of meat and smiled. "Whatever it is, I hope it tastes this good." The forest stayed quiet that night. The Threxel were watching. But now, they saw humans not as prey, but as something new, something dangerous. News about the humans spread quickly through the Accord. Every member species received the video. It showed humans killing the Threxel and cooking its meat over fire. Many aliens were shocked. Some were scared. The Threxel was seen as one of the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. Now, humans had turned it into dinner. The Accord called for an emergency meeting. Ambassadors from many planets met on a space station above a gas giant. They sat in a large round room. Screens showed the video again and again. "They eat apex predators," said one ambassador, a large being with many arms. "That is not normal." "They may upset the balance of nature," said another. "What if they eat more rare creatures? What if they hunt for fun?" Ambassador Verl stood and raised his hand. "We must speak with them. We need to know more." A message was sent to Captain Logan Barrett on Grith 4. He agreed to speak before the Accord. A small ship picked him up, along with Naomi Carter. They flew to the station the next day. When they entered the meeting room, all eyes were on them. Logan wore his uniform. Naomi carried a small box. Verl welcomed them. "Captain Barrett, Dr. Carter, thank you for coming. We are concerned. You ate the Threxel. Why?" Logan looked around the room. "It attacked us. We defended ourselves. On Earth, we do not waste what we kill. We learn from it. And yes, we eat it. Naomi stepped forward. Earth is full of dangerous animals. We hunted mammoths, giant bears, and lions. We also learned to live with them. Some we tamed, some we studied, and some we cooked. A small laugh came from one corner of the room. Naomi opened the box and handed out small sealed packages. This is Threxel jerky, safe to eat. Some ambassadors looked horrified. Others were curious. One brave alien opened the package and tasted it. "It is spicy," he said. Logan smiled. "We add pepper." The Accord debated for hours. Some believed the humans were dangerous. Others saw them as brave. A few were impressed. A young ambassador from a peaceful water world said, "They do not kill for fun. They hunt with respect." Naomi showed a short video. It showed Earth people cooking crocodiles, sharks, and even wild boars. "We eat what scares us. It is part of who we are." Viral spoke again. "You fear nothing. That makes others fear you." Logan nodded. "We understand. But we also make friends. We share. We protect those who stand with us." The Accord ended the meeting without a clear answer, but the idea of humans eating apex predators had already started to spread. On many planets, people talked about humans. Children asked to see videos. Some even wanted to taste Earth food. A new group of alien youths began calling themselves Prid Eaters. They wore Earth-style jackets and practiced cooking with fire. On Grith 4, the Frontier Dawn crew continued their work. They built stronger shelters and set up science labs. The Threxels stayed away. Naomi wrote reports about the Threxel's body. She learned it had 2 hearts and a brain that could change shape. "Smart creature," she said, "but it made a mistake." Ethan Brooks laughed. "It thought we were prey." Later that night, Logan stood by the campfire. He looked at the stars. He knew more was coming. The Accord was watching. The galaxy was curious. He took a bite of Threxel jerky and whispered, "Let them wonder." Above him, in the darkness of space, new eyes began to turn toward the humans. They had come in peace, but they were not afraid to bite. In the weeks after the Accord meeting, the galaxy was filled with talk about humans. People on many planets asked the same question: how can a species eat apex predators and still speak of peace? Alien news shows played videos of humans cooking and eating the Threxel. Some aliens were shocked. Others were impressed. On some planets, humans were seen as heroes. On others, as monsters. In schools across the stars, young aliens studied Earth. They learned about human history. They saw pictures of early humans hunting mammoths and saber-toothed cats. They watched old videos of humans cooking crocodile meat, shark steaks, and bear stew. Some aliens began to admire humans. They liked how humans did not fear strong animals. A group of young aliens formed a club called the Prid Eaters. They wore Earth clothing and cooked meat over fire. They practiced using spices and shared recipes from Earth. Not all aliens liked this new idea. Some believed eating apex predators was wrong. "All life must be respected," said an old leader from the planet Cyrola. "Killing for food is one thing, but killing the strongest creatures sends a dangerous message." Back on Grith 4, the humans worked every day. Naomi Carter studied more local animals. She found another predator, smaller than the Threxel, but faster. She called it a shadowfang. One night, a shadowfang tried to enter the camp. Ethan Brooks stopped it with a stun shot. Later, the humans tracked it, captured it safely, and sent it to a science lab. "We don't eat everything," Naomi said to her camera. "We study, we protect, and yes, sometimes we taste." She uploaded the video to the Accord Science Network. It was watched millions of times. Ambassador Viral watched the growing debate. He invited Logan Barrett and Naomi Carter to speak again, this time on a talk show watched by billions. The host was a round alien with flashing eyes named Preku. He smiled at the camera. Tonight, we speak with the humans, the ones who ate the Threxel. Let's learn more about their strange and bold culture. Logan and Naomi sat on a couch across from Preku. Lights shone bright. Cameras hovered in the air. Preku asked, "Why eat something so deadly? Why not just leave it alone?" Logan said, "On Earth, our ancestors had no choice. To live, we hunted. The dangerous animals were often the best source of food." Naomi added, "We do not hunt without reason. We respect the animals. We thank them. And we learn from them." Preku showed a video of humans preparing meals from dangerous creatures. He laughed. "You make it look easy." Logan smiled. "It never is. That's why we train. That's why we survive." After the show, more aliens wanted to visit Earth. Some wanted to try human food. Others wanted to learn hunting skills. Cooking schools on Earth began offering classes for alien students. Still, not everyone was happy. A group of alien leaders formed the Sanctity of Life Circle. They spoke out against eating predators. They called humans the Devourers. They said humans could not be trusted. Ambassador Viral worked hard to keep peace. He spoke to both sides. Yes, humans are bold. Yes, they eat what scares others. But they also build, share, and protect. We must look at the whole picture. The Accord decided to study Earth more closely. They sent more scientists and visitors to live among humans. They asked to taste human meals and join hunting trips. Back on Grith 4, Logan stood by the fire again. Ethan was grilling Shadowfang meat. Naomi was writing notes. Logan looked at the stars. "They want to understand us," he said. Naomi nodded. "They're learning. And so are we." The fire crackled. Smoke rose into the sky. The smell of cooked meat filled the air. In the darkness beyond, many eyes still watched. Some were curious. Some were afraid. But now, they knew this. Humans were not just survivors. They were adapters. And adapters always find a way. The night on Grith 4 was quiet, but something was wrong. Naomi Carter stood outside her tent, staring into the forest. She held her scanner. The screen blinked. Something was moving near the edge of the trees. Not one creature. Many. She called Ethan Brooks over. He checked the security cameras. "We've got movement." Lots of it. Captain Logan Barrett came quickly. He looked serious. "Is it the Threxel?" "Worse," Naomi said. "Bigger heat signals. Smarter movement." The camp alarm went off. Red lights flashed. The crew grabbed their weapons and took positions. Then the forest exploded. Strange creatures burst from the shadows. They were larger than the Threxel, with long arms and sharp legs. Their eyes glowed red. They moved fast, working as a group. They were not hunting for food. They were attacking with purpose. Ethan shouted, "Everyone, defend the center." Lasers and bullets lit up the night. The creatures were strong, but the humans fought harder. Naomi ducked behind a metal wall, shooting at one as it leaped toward her. Logan threw a grenade. It hit the ground and exploded, sending two creatures flying. After a long fight, the creatures pulled back. The humans had lost 2 guards, but they had held the camp. Naomi checked one of the bodies. It was like nothing she had seen. "This is not a predator. This is a soldier." Ethan nodded. "We were hunted." The next day, Logan sent a message to Ambassador Viral. "We were attacked. These creatures were organized, not natural." Viral looked worried. "I will investigate, but be careful. Some do not like what you represent." Back at the Accord, some leaders whispered in private rooms. A few powerful groups feared humans. They believed humans were too strong, too bold, too wild. One of those groups had sent the creatures to test them. It was a warning. But the test failed. The humans survived. On Grith 4, Naomi studied the creature's blood. This wasn't born. It was made. Modified. Ethan said, "Someone is scared of us. Scared enough to send killers." Logan called a meeting with the crew. We didn't start this, but we'll finish it if we have to. We came to build, to live, not to fight. But we won't run. The crew stood tall. They were not afraid. That night, instead of hiding, they lit fires around the camp. They cooked more Threxel meat. The smell filled the air. It was a message to the stars. Humans were still here. Naomi sent out a new report. We faced something new. Not nature. Not wild. It was hate, shaped into claws. But we are still standing. Across the galaxy, her words were heard. Some aliens were inspired. Some were angry. Some were afraid. But no one ignored the humans now. On a cold moon far away, in a dark room, a voice spoke to a screen. They were not supposed to survive. Send another plan. Something stronger. The screen blinked. A new threat was coming. But on Grith 4, the fire kept burning. Logan looked out into the dark and said, "Let them come. We eat fear for breakfast." And nearby, Ethan smiled and added, "With hot sauce." The humans laughed. They were not done yet. The next morning on Grith 4 was calm. Birds chirped in the trees. The sky was clear, but the crew of the Frontier Dawn stayed alert. The attack from the night before was still fresh in their minds. Captain Logan Barrett walked around the camp. He checked on every person. He asked if they had eaten, if they were okay. Many were tired, but they were strong. Naomi Carter worked in the lab. She studied the strange creature's blood again. "It's not from this planet," she said. "Whoever made it, they did it far away." Ethan Brooks checked the cameras at the camp's edge. Nothing moved, but he didn't relax. "They might come again," he said. Later that day, a small ship landed near the camp. It was not human. The ship was blue and round. The door opened, and 3 beings stepped out. They looked like tall lizards with silver eyes. Naomi raised her scanner. "They're not a threat. Their weapons are not charged." Logan walked out to meet them. "I'm Captain Barrett. This is human ground. Who are you?" One of the lizard beings stepped forward. "We are the Rithari. We came to help. We saw what happened. The hunters that attacked you are not natural. They are made by those who fear you." Logan was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. "Thank you. We can use friends." The Rithari helped the humans build better defenses. They shared shield tech and silent alarms. Naomi worked closely with one named Yulin, who was a scientist. They compared notes on the creature. "It was designed to kill humans," Yulin said. "But not just kill, to scare." Naomi looked confused. "Why scare us? We don't run." Yulin nodded. "Exactly. They fear what you will become." Back at the Accord, word of the failed attack spread. Some leaders were angry. Others were nervous. Many had believed humans were still weak. But now they saw the truth. Humans fought back, and they survived. Ambassador Verl stood before the council. The humans did not start this, but they stood their ground. And now they have allies. If we push them, we may make them stronger. Some agreed. Others did not. The room split. On Grith 4, the humans and Rithari trained together. They ran drills, practiced with weapons, and shared stories. Ethan laughed during one lesson. "You lizards run fast, but can you cook like us?" The Rithari didn't understand the joke, so he made a small barbecue and cooked shadowfang meat. Yulin took a bite and smiled. "Spicy. Good. Strange, but good." More laughter. For the first time in days, the camp felt safe. At night, Logan looked at the stars again. Naomi stood beside him. "They came to kill us," she said. "Yes," Logan answered. "And now others are coming to help us." "Yes, that's how it starts. People see who you really are when things get hard." She nodded. "Then maybe we're changing the galaxy." Logan smiled. "One meal at a time." Far away, the enemy watched. The ones who had sent the creatures were not pleased. "They make friends too fast," said one voice. "We must divide them, turn the accord against them." A new plan began. But on Grith 4, the fire still burned. Humans and Rithari sat together. They ate, laughed, and talked about tomorrow. And in the shadows of the galaxy, others began to wonder. Were humans truly dangerous, or were they just human? Dark clouds moved over Grith 4. A storm was coming, but inside the camp, the fire was still burning. Captain Logan Barrett stood near the edge of the fence, watching the sky. The Rithari stood beside him. Yulin, the scientist, held a small device in his hand. "The storm will pass," he said, "but danger still moves in the stars." Logan nodded. "We know. They won't stop. Not now." Inside the camp, Naomi Carter was working in the lab. She had just finished sending her report to Earth. She called it, "When Predators Fear Prey." Ethan Brooks walked in with 2 cups of hot tea. "You think they'll understand back home?" Naomi smiled. "I think they already do." Hours later, a warning came from the sky. A ship was approaching fast. Not friendly, not hiding. It came straight toward them. The humans and the Rithari rushed to prepare. Shields were turned on. Weapons were ready. Drones flew into the sky to scan. "Enemy ship," Yulin said, looking at the screen. "Large, not from any known group." Logan spoke into the radio. "This is Captain Barrett. You are entering human ground. Turn back now." No answer. The ship came closer. Then it stopped. A message came through. A deep voice spoke. "You think you're strong, but you're just lucky. You eat beasts and act proud. Let's see if you can fight something smarter." Then the sky lit up. Small machines rained down from the ship. Not soldiers, not animals. Machines, each one with legs, claws, and weapons. The camp shook as the machines landed. They moved fast. They were made to kill, made to win, but they did not know humans. Logan shouted, "Hold the line." The fight began. Lasers flashed. Grenades exploded. Smoke filled the air. The Rithari fought hard. The humans fought harder. Ethan climbed a tower and used a sniper rifle to take down the fast ones. Naomi ran between fighters, tossing tools, helping the wounded. Yulin used a special device to shut down some of the machines. "It works." Hit the center node. Logan and 2 soldiers charged forward. They reached the node and planted explosives. "Fire in 5." Logan shouted. Boom. The center of the machine army exploded. The rest of the machines stopped moving. Silence fell. The enemy ship turned and ran. Cheers broke out in the camp. They had won. Later, the Accord sent a message. Ambassador Verl appeared on screen. "We have seen your strength, but more than that, we have seen your spirit. Some feared you, but now many respect you. The Accord offers you full member status." Logan looked at the crew. Naomi nodded. Ethan smiled. Logan turned to the screen. "We accept. But remember, we didn't come to fight. We came to live, to build, to share." Viral smiled. "And you have." Word of the victory spread. Across the galaxy, aliens talked about humans. Some still feared them, but many now wanted to learn from them, to eat with them, to laugh with them. On Grith 4, peace returned. The camp grew larger. New friends arrived. New food was shared. Naomi wrote in her journal, "They thought we were just predators, but we are more. We fight, yes, but we also cook, share, and protect. We are human, and that means more than anyone expected." Logan stood by the fire one last time. He looked at the stars. "Let them come," he said softly. "We're ready." And somewhere out there, in the deep dark, new watchers listened. This time, they didn't see monsters. They saw something new, something powerful, Something human.